Hi guys, welcome back for another CKLA lesson. We are on lesson 7 and we are going to go all the way to the back of lesson 7 because the vocabulary is on this page. So we're going to read the vocab before we read the vignette that goes with this lesson. So this page is on 111. So it's the vocabulary for the chapter called Our Good Day. Okay, so hopefully you're on page 111 by now. All the vocab words, almost all of them, start with C's, so that's kind of funny. So first words, the phrase is chip in, okay, and that's an idiom. It means contribute or help out. Like if somebody asks you to, hey, come chip in with this project, it means come help with this project, right? Okay, so chip in, first word. Okay, next word is complicated. That's an adjective. It means difficult to explain. So if something is complicated, it means it's too hard to explain well, okay? Next word is crooked. That's also an adjective. It means not straight. So if I draw this line, that is a crooked line. It's not a straight line. Next word is especially, which is an adverb. That means particularly. Kind of like saying very in front of a verb, because remember adverb, ADV, that describes how a verb is done. So if something is like especially fast, okay, then it's very fast. I had a hard time thinking of a verb or an adverb. Okay, and then at the bottom is literary vocab. So this is the skill we're working on today, and that's personal pronoun. And the personal pronoun shows the person or people speaking. So it's like I, me, we, he, she, so pronouns. So that is what we're working on with some graphs and charts and stuff today. So we'll get to that eventually, but we needed to know those 4 words for our chapter. And that vignette starts on page 100. So flip back to page 100, and I brought something from school. Let me grab it. Something for this lesson. Oh no. Can't find it. Oh no. Shoot. Well, I had something for this lesson. I don't know where I put it. I had my little, you know how I have my little hand that goes at the end of my pen? I could have sworn I grabbed those. Oh, you know what? They're in my purse, I think, but my purse is on the other side of the house, so I'm not going to waste your guys' time to continue looking for them. I'll grab them so they're ready next time. Sorry for not being prepared with my little hands that I use for tracking. If you're not in my class, if you're in Miss Ball's class or Miss Sanders' class, you probably have no idea what I'm talking about. But I have little plastic, little rubber hands. They look like this, but they're this big, and they fit on the end of my pen, so I track with the little hand. It's a lot of fun. It's cooler than it sounds, I promise. Okay, so anyway, I'll track with my pen. We'll be okay. This is vignette 4, and it's titled Our Good Day, okay? And one of the character names in this story is pretty cool. So don't forget you can track along with me as I read it out loud, or if you'd prefer to read it by yourself, that is always an option. Just skip ahead. But here we go. If you give me $5, I will be your friend forever. That's what the little one tells me. Pause. Okay, so all the dialogue I'm going to put quotation marks around, just so we know, because there's a lot of dialogue in this vignette, but none of it is labeled with quotation marks, so it might be easier for us just to know exactly what parts are dialogue. So back to it. If you give me $5, I will be your friend forever. That's what the little one tells me. $5 is cheap, so since I don't have any friends except Kathy, who is my only friend till Tuesday. $5. She is trying to get somebody to chip in so they can buy a bicycle from this kid named Tito. They already have $10, and all they need is $5 more. Only $5, she says. Don't talk to them, says Kathy. Can't you see they smell like a broom? Well, that's rude. But I like them. Their clothes are crooked and old. They are wearing shiny Sunday shoes without socks. It makes their bald ankles all red, but I like them. Especially the big one who laughs with all her teeth. I like her even though she lets the little one do all the talking. $5, the little one says. Only 5. Kathy is tugging my arm, and I know whatever I do next will make her mad forever. Okay, I'm going to pause before going to the next page because this continues on, but it's a little bit confusing because it doesn't really explain who's here and who's talking, okay? So obviously the me in the story and I, those are Esperanza, right? She's the narrator of the story. So if it says me or I, we're talking about Esperanza. So Esperanza is a character, and she is with her friend Kathy. Okay? It says, I don't have any friends except Kathy, who is only my friend till Tuesday. So it's Esperanza and Kathy hanging out. And then there's 2 other people. The little one is the 3rd character. We don't know their name yet. Kathy says, don't talk to them. Okay? I like them. Their clothes are crooked and old. They're wearing shiny Sunday shoes without socks. It makes their bald ankles all red, but I like them, especially the big one who laughs with all their teeth. So there's Esperanza, there's Kathy, the little one, who we don't know who that is, and the big one. Okay? And the little one and the big one are trying to get $5 more so that they can buy somebody's bike. They need $5 more. And Kathy is pretty judgmental about them. Can't you see they smell like a broom? That is not a nice thing to say to somebody, right? Like, I don't know exactly what a broom smells like, but it doesn't sound like a positive thing. Kathy's being really sassy and mean, so she is being judgmental and rude. But Esperanza likes them, even though it sounds like they're dressed a little strangely, and yeah. Okay, so we'll turn the page, continue reading. We'll see what happens with these interesting characters. Okay, I'm gonna zoom in a little so you can see more of the page. There we go. Wait a minute, I say, and run inside to get the $5. I have $3 saved, and I take 2 of Nenny's. She's not home, but I'm sure she'll be glad when she finds out we own a bike. When I get back, Kathy is gone like I knew she would be. But I don't care. I have 2 new friends and a bike, too. My name is Lucy, the big one says. Okay, so the big one, I don't know, maybe they're siblings and one's older. I don't know why they're calling her the big one. The big one is Lucy, okay? This here is Rachel, my sister. Okay, so the big one is Lucy. The little one, her sister, is Rachel. I'm her sister, says Rachel. Who are you? Okay. And I wish my name was Cassandra or Alexis or Maritza, anything but Esperanza. But when I tell them my name, they don't laugh. Okay, for some reason, remember that other chapter? She really does not like the name Esperanza. I don't understand. We come from Texas, Lucy says and grins. Her was born here, but me, I'm Texas. Her was born here. Interesting. She means her sister, I think. Her, like Rachel, was born here, but me, I'm Texas. You mean she, I say. No, I'm from Texas and doesn't get it. No, I'm from Texas and doesn't get it. I think that whole thing is dialogue from Lucy. Strange. Okay. This bike is 3 ways ours, says Rachel, who is thinking ahead already. Mine today, Lucy's tomorrow, and yours a day after. So they're planning the bike. But everybody wants to ride it today because the bike is so new. So we decide to take turns after tomorrow. Today it belongs to all of us. I don't tell them about Nenny just yet. It's too complicated. Okay, what is too complicated about that? She doesn't tell them about her sister Nenny. Why would that be complicated? Okay, remember, she borrowed $2 from Nenny up here. So really, there's 4 people that contributed. Lucy and Rachel, the sisters, and Esperanza, but she got money from her sister, Nenny. So really, it's not the 3 of theirs bike. They might need to split it with Nenny also, but she doesn't tell them about Nenny just yet. It's too complicated, kind of hard to explain. She had to borrow money from her sister. And I guess I would call it not borrowing. She stole money from her sister because her sister is not aware of it. She's not home. She doesn't know. Okay. Especially since Rachel almost put out Lucy's eye about who was going to get to write it first. So Rachel was mad. She almost intentionally put out Lucy's eye. So it means she almost punched her sister's eye about who was going to get it right at first. But finally, we agree to write it together. Why not? Because Lucy has long legs, she pedals. I sit on the back seat, and Rachel is skinny enough to get up on the handlebars, which makes the bike all wobbly, as if the wheels are spaghetti. But after a bit, you get used to it. We ride faster and faster, past my house, sad and red and crumbly in places, past Mr. Benny's grocery on the corner, and down the avenue, which is dangerous. Laundromat, junk store, drugstore, windows and more cars, and around the block back to Mango. People on the bus wave. A very fat lady crossing the street says, "You sure got quite a load there." Rachel shouts, "You got quite a load there too." She's very sassy. Down, down Mango Street we go. Rachel, Lucy, me. Our new bicycle. Laughing the crooked ride back. Okay, not a very nice thing Rachel said there to that lady. She was making fun of the very fat lady. Okay. So, if you want to read it one more time, you can pause the video and reread it. Just because I had to pause a lot and explain some things, it was a little bit choppy. But this lesson will be like an hour and a half long if we continue and read it again. So, remember there's 4 characters in this so far that we know of. Well, that's all of it. They kind of mentioned Nenny, but she wasn't in it. Esperanza and Kathy. Kathy left because she's mean, doesn't like the look of the 2 girls. And then there was Rachel and Lucy. And Lucy's the older one. Rachel's the little younger one. And Rachel is very sassy, almost fought her sister about who got to ride the bike first, and was not very nice to the old lady crossing the street. Okay, so they're sharing this bike. Sounds like they're having a lovely time, right? Good for them. Okay, on the next page, page 104, it explains the graph that we're going to be working with, okay? The table on the next page shows personal pronouns used in the first few paragraphs of Our Good Day. The first column indicates in which paragraph each pronoun is found. Read the text, and in the third column, name the character the pronoun refers to. In the final column, find a quote from the text that helped you identify the character. Hint, it may not be the same sentence that uses the pronoun. That's all super confusing. It's like, what? Okay, don't worry about it. There's a blank page right here. And then I'm gonna have to zoom out so you can see most of both pages because it's this whole chart right here, okay? This page and this page. So, it goes which paragraph they're talking about, the pronoun, so the you or the me, I, she, they, them, they, her, okay? And then who is that talking about? The you and the me, that one was talking about Esperanza. What character are we talking about? And record the sentence that helped you identify this character, okay? So this will make sense after we go through a couple, but we can do the example one. So in paragraph 1, if we look at the first paragraph, okay, it says, "If you give me $5, I will be your friend forever. That's what the little one tells me." Okay. So Rachel said, "If you give me," so who's the you? That would be Esperanza. She was talking to Esperanza. "If you give me $5. and the little one tells me. That was Esperanza, okay? So Esperanza is the character that is the you and the me in these sentences. So you and me matches with Esperanza. And then the sentence that helped us identify that it was Esperanza is, that's what the little one tells me. Okay? So, in the first paragraph again, right here, sorry. Okay. So, who is the me in me $5? And that was, if you give me $5. So who wants $5? And who's the I here? I will be your friend forever. Who's saying those things? Who is me and I? Okay, that one was Rachel. Okay, and how do we know? How do we know that one is Rachel? I'm just gonna write little one, because it was like, that's what the little one tells me. And later on it says something about, this here is my sister Rachel. This here is Rachel, my sister. Okay. So later on Lucy says that. Okay, paragraph 4. Who is the she in this sentence? She is trying to get somebody to chip in. So who is trying to get somebody to chip in? Who is that she? Well, again, that would be Rachel. Rachel's the one going around asking people for money. She'll be their friend if they give them $5 for the bike. Okay, and then I'm just gonna draw an arrow because it's the same evidence. The little one doing all the talking is the sister, the little sister, okay? Okay, paragraph 4 again. Who is the they from they already have $10? So who was already collecting $10? Who already had $10? That's Rachel, but we know it's somebody else too because they is plural. That's more than one. So it's Rachel and Lucy. Okay, and they're sisters, remember? Big one and the little one. And how do we know who they are? She said, my name is Lucy. And then this here is Rachel, my sister. Just gonna copy that part. This here is Rachel, my sister. Okay. There was just a lot of pronouns in this chapter, so we need to get the characters straight. And I know I tried to help out as we read along to clarify things, but this chart's trying to help us too. Okay, in paragraph 7, who is the them in but I like them? Who is the they in they are wearing shiny Sunday shoes? So in that paragraph, it was describing Rachel and Lucy. Okay, that's describing the two girls again. And I'm just gonna draw an arrow again. That's how we know those characters, because they introduce themselves. Okay, and last box. Who is the her and the she in I like her even though she lets the little one do all the talking? So who is Esperanza talking about? I like her even though she lets the little one do all the talking. Well, that would be Lucy, because the little one was Rachel. So if she lets the little one do the talking, then she is Lucy, the big one. My name is Lucy. The big one says. Okay, that's the quote from the book. My name is Lucy, the big one says. Okay, so I'm gonna leave it right here for a second if you need to pause to catch up with any of those notes. Pause it right now. We were just trying to identify which characters match which pronouns. Okay, done. Questions. Okay, so on these 2 pages, you just have some questions about some of the things from the text, just to clarify and figure out the vignette a little bit more, okay? So number 1, the first sentence of the vignette introduces a character without using her name and without using quotation marks to show dialogue. If you give me $5, I will be your friend forever. That's what the little one tells me. The author could have written, if you give me $5, I'll be your friend forever, said Rachel. So they could have written this, but they didn't. Instead, they did that. Okay. Why do you think the author introduced the character first without using her name? Or without first using her name. So why did the author of The House on Mango Street introduce her like this instead of like this? Why don't we know her name in the beginning, okay? And remember, it's why do you think? This is just your opinion, okay? There's no right or wrong. It's just what do you think, okay? So I think, and you can write whatever you like, this is your opinion, but my opinion is that I think the author doesn't use this character's name yet because Esperanza hasn't learned her name yet. In the story. Okay, does that make sense? Because if they had said this, if you give me $5, I'll be your friend forever, said Rachel. We would have been like, well, who the heck is Rachel? We don't know a Rachel yet in this story, okay? Because Esperanza hasn't met this person yet, so it would be weird if the author just told us her name right off the bat, okay? So I think the author doesn't use this character's name yet because Esperanza hasn't learned her name yet in the story. So at this point in the story, Esperanza doesn't know her name, hasn't met Rachel yet. So we can't say that it's from Rachel, okay? That's just my opinion. I also think that a good answer would be something about like how bold and sassy Rachel is. Like maybe she wouldn't have introduced herself, you know? Because Lucy introduced Rachel for her. She wasn't like, hey, my name's Rachel. She kind of is just like bold and kind of rude almost. Like, if you give me $5, I'll be your friend forever. And she's just like kind of brash, like isn't like polite and introducing herself, you know? I don't know. All right, so this side. Okay. Read the following passage from the text. We come from Texas, Lucy says and grins. Her was born here, but me, I'm Texas. You mean she, I say. No, I'm from Texas. And doesn't get it. Oh, okay. So this is where the quotation marks go for that line. And doesn't get it. Well, I won't tell you what she's talking about yet. Esperanza comments that she doesn't get it. Whom is Esperanza referring to? So who doesn't get it? Who, and by doesn't get it is like doesn't understand it. Okay, because she said it weird up here, right? This sounds weird, what she says. We come from Texas, Lucy says and grins. Her was born here, but me, I'm Texas. The her was born here does not sound good, right? It should say she was born here. That's why Esperanza corrects her and says, you mean she, I say. No, I'm from Texas. And she doesn't get it. So who doesn't get it? Who's talking? Who doesn't understand what's talking or what she's saying? That would be Lucy, okay? Lucy is explaining We come from Texas, Lucy says and grins. Her was born here, but me, I'm Texas. You mean she was born here, I say. No, I'm from Texas. And she doesn't get it. Okay, Lucy doesn't get what she said is wrong. Just from like the way they're talking and the way they described them being dressed, kind of sounds like maybe they don't even go to school, or maybe they don't go to a school as good as the one Esperanza goes to, because she's kind of got some weird grammar going on here, right? Okay, so Lucy doesn't get it. Lucy doesn't understand that her grammar was wrong up here, okay? So what doesn't she get? What doesn't Lucy understand? She said her instead of she, which is incorrect. Okay, so Lucy was incorrect here. It shouldn't have been her, it should be she. Okay, pause there if you need to. One last page. Okay. And this page is going to be opinion stuff. It says with your partner, but you know, we're at home, not at school. So if you want to, if you have somebody at home, I know we've got some twins in the 4th grade. So if you guys are doing this together, complete it together. If you want to do it on your own, do it on your own. This is kind of just based on your inference and what you can find as evidence from the text, okay? So there's 3 characters here, Rachel, Kathy, and Lucy. How does Esperanza feel about this character? So how does Esperanza feel about Rachel? Write that here. How does Esperanza feel about Kathy? Write that here. How does Esperanza feel about Lucy? Write that here. Okay? So there's lots of evidence in the text about how she feels about Rachel and Lucy. Those were the 2 sisters. There's not a whole lot about how she feels about Kathy, though, okay? There is a little bit, so try and find something, okay? So this is for you to do. I'm not going to find the answers for you, okay? But I would like you to go back into the text, find evidence. Right here it says, remember to use evidence from the text about how she feels about them. You can find direct quotes, or you can just say like, she feels positive feelings about Rachel because the text says blank, okay? Maybe she doesn't feel very positively about Kathy anymore. She didn't really seem to care that Kathy left, right? So write your answers in those boxes, and then tomorrow we'll do lesson 8. Okay, hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Miss you lots. Bye.